This is the MetaMoov ZO01 Plus electric scooter, and I decided to talk about it because after a few weeks of riding, wrenching, and a couple of white-knuckle speed runs, I've got real thoughts you won't get from a spec sheet. I'm not here to sell you anything. I bought it to replace a commuter scooter that topped out around 18 miles per hour and choked on hills, and I wanted to see if this big dual-motor beast could be the weekend thrill ride and the weekday errand runner I was hoping for. I'd put it in that hyper-scooter category where performance outweighs convenience. It costs less than the premium flags you see at group rides, but the numbers it throws down sit surprisingly close. It's the type of machine for someone who has a garage, likes to tinker a little, and craves power more than portability. If you live in a walk-up and plan to carry your scooter, this isn't it. If you want a heavy-duty road rocket you can dial back for calmer rides, now we're talking. My experience starts with the first push on the throttle. Dual motors lit up, and the front end got light enough that I had to lean into the stem to keep it planted. The trigger throttle is punchy and a bit jerky at low speed, so I learned to feather it with my thumb braced against the housing. Once it's rolling, it's hilarious how fast it piles on speed. GPS had me in the low to mid-50s on flat ground, which is far beyond what most people expect from something you stand on. I keep the steering damper snug because above 35 miles per hour, a loose front end feels twitchy. With the damper set right, the scooter tracks straight and calm, and the bars move with a heavy hydraulic feel that builds confidence. The ride quality surprised me. The C-type dual suspension and the 11-inch pneumatic tires turn rough city streets into something I can cruise. Expansion joints and pothole edges are a thump, not a shock. On really nasty hits, I've bottomed it once or twice with a loud clack, but 95% of the time, it's plush without feeling wallowy. Out of the box, I did get squeaks from the rear pivots. A little lithium grease on the pivot bolts and shock mounts shut that up instantly. The deck is wide and long, which matters more than I expected. I can stand naturally in a snowboard stance without hunting for foot space, and the rear kick plate is my anchor when I launch hard. The handlebars are wide, which helps fight the gyroscopic effect from the big wheels at speed. I swapped the stock grips after a few long rides because the firm rubber made my hands tingle. Padded gloves or softer grips make a noticeable difference. Braking is where it earns its keep. The hydraulic discs bite hard with very little finger pressure. I set the electronic braking to medium to blend regen with the hydraulics. Cranked up too high, it's grabby and pitches me forward. Dialed in, I can scrub speed smoothly or panic stop without drama. It's the kind of stopping power that makes the top speed usable, not just a party trick. Lighting is a mixed bag. The dual front LEDs are bright enough to throw a beam 20 to 30 feet ahead, but they're mounted low on the moving suspension, so on rough roads, the beam bounces. The deck RGB strips are great for side visibility and safety at night, though it does add a flashy look that not everyone loves. The turn signals sit low, so I still use hand signals. The horn is loud. Actual car driver wakes up loud, which I appreciate when someone drifts. About the weight, it's a legit 100 plus pounds. I can muscle it up a curb or two, but lifting it into a trunk is a two-person move unless you love deadlifts. Folded, the stem locks down, but the wide bars and sheer bulk take over a trunk. It's portable in the sense that it folds, not portable in the sense that you're carrying it upstairs daily. Charging is straightforward with dual chargers, and I've been able to top it from low to full in an evening. Range is exactly what you'd expect from a big battery and big power. If I'm playing with throttle and cruising fast, I see something in the 30 to 40 mile window. Chill pace, eco mode, single motor, and I can stretch it farther. But I didn't buy this to putt around at 15 miles per hour all the time. It's nice knowing the pack is there when I want to do a crosstown loop and not sweat it. Hills are a non-issue. I live where climbs get steep, and it just keeps pulling. I've passed cyclists uphill while maintaining car pace speeds. After long climbs, I can feel warmth from the hubs, but I haven't cooked anything. If you're a heavier rider, this is one of those machines that still feels strong and unbothered. On maintenance, I learned quickly that big knobby tires act like tiny hammers on every bolt. I do a weekly bolt check. Stem, axle nuts, caliper mounts, kickstand. Blue thread locker is your friend. The tires are tubeless, which is awesome. No pinch flats, and a plug kit lives in my backpack. A small nail became a 5-minute fix without taking the wheel off. After a few hundred miles, my brakes wanted to bleed. Easy enough with a basic kit and mineral oil. The folding joint stayed tight once I set the tension bolt correctly. But if you feel any fore-aft play, deal with it right away. A tiny wobble becomes a big wobble, fast. Now the quirks. The throttle at low speeds isn't buttery. It's either rolling or lunging unless you're gentle. Not a problem at speed, but in a crowd I drop to single motor and eco to smooth things out. The low-mounted headlights bounce on rough roads. The turn signals are too low to trust. Quality control on these scooters is a bit roulette across the community, so I did a full nut and bolt check and inspected wiring right after unboxing. Mine arrived clean, no scratches, everything functional. I treat support with a DIY mindset. Expect to swap parts yourself if anything goes wrong. The upside is the platform is straightforward to work on. Comparing this to the scooter I had before, think rental-style commuter, I used to plan routes around steep streets and avoid traffic because merging felt sketchy. On the ZO01 Plus, I launch faster than most cars from a light, get into the lane I want, and stay away from doors and bad surfaces. It changes what rides I consider possible. Put it next to the more expensive heavy hitters I've tried, and here's what stands out. Those premium models tend to have smoother throttle mapping, sometimes better finish on welds and cable routing, and nicer displays. They also weigh about the same and cost a lot more. This one gives me the speed, the battery, hydraulic brakes, and a steering damper without the high price tag. I'm giving up some refinement and maybe dealer support, but I'm getting the performance that actually matters when I'm standing on it. For people wondering if it's worth buying, it comes down to what you want out of your rides. If you need a fast, high-range scooter that can carry real weight, climb real hills, and put a grin on your face every time you squeeze the trigger, the value is hard to argue with. If you want a low-maintenance, carry-on-the-bus commuter, this will feel like owning a small motorcycle without the seat height. I'm comfortable recommending it to anyone who's mechanically curious and gear-savvy enough to respect the speed. Full-face helmet, gloves, pads. I don't ride this in shorts and a bicycle cap. I'll wrap it up like this. It's a brutal, fun, confidence-inspiring machine once you set it up right. Not perfect, not polished like some high-end brands, but it delivers what counts: power, brakes, suspension, and real range. If you've got questions or want me to test something specific, drop a comment. If this video helped, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.